In this section, section 2.5, we're going to talk about just a few things that can make graphs bad or bad graphs. So first we're going to take a look at this first graph. So this graph, both graphs here, but this graph is looking at the percent of students in Michigan versus Ohio who pass a statistics course. So when we look here at the first one, it looks like Michigan did way better, maybe like 4 or 5 times better. Where this exact same data made the second graph, and it doesn't look like Ohio did that much worse than Michigan at all. So what's wrong? If we notice, on the first graph, the x-axis didn't start at 0. And that's what really messed us up. So that's one thing we want to be careful about. We want our axes to start at 0. If your axes don't start at 0, then things can look really skewed. So that's one thing you always want to check. Okay, the other things that we want to be careful with, one thing we want to be careful with are pictographs. So those are graphs where pictures are used to represent something. And the problem is, they're cute in newspapers and everything, but the problem is that areas or volumes, if you're looking at something that looks like an area, for example, a dollar bill to represent a salary or something, what you're really looking at there is the area of the dollar bill, or volumes. So if you have something that looks like a pyramid to represent something, they can also distort kind of proportions. So something, if you make an area a square that's 2 times as big as the other, to the eye, it's actually going to look 4 times as big because of the area. So you have to be careful with that. The other thing you want to be careful, you want to make sure your axes are clearly labeled. If they're not clearly labeled, then the reader doesn't know what's really going on. And then another thing is that they shouldn't be too cluttered. If they're too cluttered, then it's hard for the reader to figure out what's going on. So the ultimate goal is to make graphs that are easy to read and accurately portray the information from the data.